there's been a major change in Bray Wyatt and the Fiend's WWE gimmick. What could it mean? I think it's a big deal. I'm Ollie Davis. This is the returning to WrestleTalk Live, Randy Andy Datson, the Rollin' R superstar. He's been let out of his cage for the first time in a year.
And it feels so good because I was the first choice and not because no one else is here.
He's totally here on his own merit, not because literally everyone else is away today. Please press the thumbs up button, give us a subscribe, leave us a comment down below with your thoughts on the whole Bray Wyatt Fiend thing that we're going to talk about very shortly. And do get in your super chats, but remember, we're still in the trial. This is the last day, however, where we're not reading them out. If you donate, your name will appear at the bottom. If it's $10 or above, your whole message will appear in the text at the bottom. But for now, it's probably going to be an empty graphic there. And on Tuesday, we're going to try something new where we do answer super chats, but we cut it off after the show goes an hour, and then we'll go somewhere else and answer the rest of the super chats, which is kind of what a few people have suggested. Anyway, The Fiend and Bray Wyatt on this episode of SmackDown. Yes. For the first time ever, we got Mr. Rogers Bray in action.
Yes.
So this is really interesting. Last week's episode had the kind of cliffhanger moment of Daniel Bryan saying, yeah, you guys have brought back the yes movement. And everyone is going, yes, he's doing the yes thing. But then Bray comes up through the ring, as he is wont to do, pulls Bryan underneath it, and then rips out chunks of hair.
Do you think he just had chunks of hair under there, or do you think Bryan's under there with a pair of scissors, just doing it really quickly and just handing up bits of hair? Because I do genuinely think when he comes back, he's going to have the whole kind of old, sort of, when he was in the Nexus, that kind of haircut.
Potentially. The sort of, shaved
the
head,
buzz, yeah, the
beard
kind of, yeah. Because I think with this sort of gimmick change, because the long hair and the long beard kind of went with his eco-friendly gimmick, and now that he's kind of forgotten that he cares about the environment because he liked to say yes again, I feel like now he's going to have a sort of image change as well.
Yeah, just start driving a 4x4.
Yeah, exactly. Burning things
burgers.
in the middle of the ring. Yeah. Just kind of using plastic more than just once.
Yeah, just like, a bottle of water, taking one sip and then throwing it in the bin.
Yeah.
I think the Bryan stuff is interesting here, and it might play into a larger point because we didn't see him. And
No.
that was the whole motivating factor behind this episode's storyline. Miz comes out and says, yeah, I was meant to have a Miz TV segment with Daniel Bryan, but no one's seen him since last Friday's episode, which is, it's so stupid. I personally
put out a missing persons report then if he's actually missing.
I personally love it. I do find that bit of pro wrestling funny.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Miz is like, well, I don't like him. I don't. I'll never be friends with him, but I care about him
a lot.
I don't understand that.
No, I absolutely hate everything about him, but I really care. The fact that he's gone missing has really, really disturbed me.
Yeah.
And I want to find him. I will get to the bottom of this.
And that is kind of set up by Miz has gone up to Bryan in recent weeks and said, look, I'm worried about you. I'm worried, what the Fiend could do to your family. And I guess Miz is really saying that from his character perspective. I'm saying I'm worried about you, but really, I want you to defeat the Fiend because I'm worried he'll come after me and everyone.
Which he has now done. But I mean, I'm pretty sure this is setting up Bryan Fiend at Rumble, because you'd think that they would want. They're basically using the Miz as a sort of. Obviously, I mean, okay, fine. If the Miz wins at TLC, then you can. I will do anything.
Well, this is it, yeah, because originally the reports had Fiend versus Bryan at TLC.
Yeah.
That's been the reported plan for a couple of weeks. But on this episode, they announced it's going to be The Miz versus Bray Wyatt, which you said about Wrestle League.
Yeah, I genuinely think it could be the first completely unanimous vote. I mean, I'm sure there'll be some people who don't really care about their points and will vote for The Miz, but honestly, if you actually think The Miz is going to win, then you really, without upsetting anyone, you are deluded.
The difference maker here, because it's a feud based around family, Miz Dad.
That's Miz. Miz Dad could return And
Imagine that.
what if Bray Wyatt's dad comes back, just debuts?
IRS. Oh, he's not passed away, has he? He was very ill.
Yeah, I don't think he's.
I don't think. Let us know.
Get
in the
better
chat.
soon.
But yeah, Miz Dad.
Yeah.
That would be. I think that's where we all want the Fiend thing to go, to put over Miz Dad. But so Miz is doing this promo, and Firefly Funhouse happens on the Titantron, and Bray starts to say, because Miz was kind of saying it's the SmackDown family. I mean, it doesn't really work that dialogue, because surely the Fiend and Bray Wyatt is also part of the SmackDown family. But whatever. Bray Wyatt comes on screen and says, "Oh, I used to have a family," and it has this really quick
with Brian in his kind of sort of jumpsuit overall
I didn't
thing.
see that.
Yeah. So Brian was at the front with
I saw Rowan and Harper.
Yeah, but it was Brian at the front rather than actually.
That's really
good.
good.
I thought it was really cool how they sort of played into the whole Wyatt family, and then just kind of moved it over into Miz's family.
Yeah, because then Bray
Miz
says,
has just had a new baby girl as well.
And he says, "Yeah, I mean, I could have your family," which is such like a creepy horror, like sociopathic horror movie thing to say. And he's got this picture of Miz, Maurice, and their 2 children, Monroe Sky.
So I looked it up. So it's Monroe Sky and Alden Presley, which is a name.
I think they're naming them in the, like, Miz has been in WWE so long.
Yeah.
He's just given them WWE style names.
Yeah, exactly. He's thinking, right, what can get them over in 20 years' time?
Hungry Harris.
Yeah.
Or Husky Harris.
Hungry Harris.
I'm mixing up that and the pig boy gimmick. But this like prompts the Miz to go like run after him. By the way, I thought Bray Wyatt in this and the Miz. The Miz is like, obviously he's not Daniel Day-Lewis.
No.
But in wrestling terms,
from his days in Tough Enough, he has turned into something quite brilliant and on occasion. And
a very like really good screen actor, because it's a different style of acting.
He's been in The Marine.
Exactly, yeah, he is the A-lister.
The star of The Marine.
I mean, the joke about him being the A-lister is that he's not an A-lister, but now he's a baby face, and they're still trying to push the idea he's still a serious actor.
Is he a baby face? Because he's...
Yeah.
Because as much as he's kind of going, I hate Daniel Bryan, but I'm scared for him, that's kind of... I would call him more of a tweener, but actually sort of leaning towards the heel.
I would say he's definitely a baby face in this, because...
in this, absolutely.
So Miz goes backstage, and he's... I like this. It really put over the threat of the Fiend. He's on the phone to Maurice, and he's like, lock the doors.
Yeah.
Bolt up... I don't know how you bolt up windows, but just like, lock that S word down.
Turn the lights off.
Yeah, I'm coming home right now.
Yeah.
Really gets over the threat. But as he's walking along, he sees a room with a red light. And he's like, well, that looks more important.
Like Amsterdam. He's like, wow, I really want to go and see that.
That's like a waft of weed coming from it too.
Unless he was thinking, well, if the Fiend's in there, maybe I can tackle him at the source. Or it was just really quite thick.
Well, there is nothing to suggest ever that a room with a red light would have Bray Wyatt or the Fiend.
It's either Kane, the Boogeyman, the Fiend, or now even Sheamus. It could have been Sheamus in there practicing for later.
Just like in the shadows, and he comes out.
Miz, what are you? I want to do an Irish accent.
Go on.
Miz, what are you doing? What are you doing?
So Miz walks into this room, and it's quite coolly set up. There's just a kind of table set up with that picture of Miz's family that Bray had in the Firefly Funhouse segment, but Bray's face
photoshopped.
Put
not
on
just
Miz.
It was his whole like jumper as well.
Yeah.
It was his red jumper,
and it was genuinely unsettling. And it was like that's such a good blood feud element to this, and it really, like, Miz was unsettled out of nowhere, and this is the big thing here. This is the big gimmick change that we went with for the thumbnail and title. Bray Wyatt in Mr. Rogers' getup, in the cardigan, in the trousers, appears in our reality.
I don't know what he says. He says something, and then Miz goes, huh, and sort of turns around straight into his sister Abigail onto the concrete. And then what did he say after? He said something after that, but then
She's
he sort
my
of,
wife now.
Yeah, it's something creepy, and then kind of just sort of slides out of screen, and then it's then you get straight into the commercial break, and then when you come back, you've got the ref kind of, Miz, are you okay? And Miz sort of groggy and looking very scared.
Well, and so that is the first time we've ever seen Bray Wyatt, Mr. Rogers style, and outside of the Firefly Funhouse, not the Fiend. And then to double down on that they announced the Miz versus Bray Wyatt
at TLC.
At TLC rather than the Daniel Bryan one. Like you said, I think that's a great way to elongate the Bryan stuff, because this question mark about where Bryan is in the background is really intriguing.
And the thing is, Bryan is an interesting enough character and a good enough promo and sort of wrestler to make the month and a half gap between TLC and Royal Rumble not seem like a month and a half. Whereas I think if he was feuding with the Miz for 2 months, that might get a bit samey, because he's not as much as I like the Miz, he's not a main event star anymore.
No. And there is having that Fiend Bryan match with a bit of the the context of their previous match at Royal Rumble. I like the mirror image stuff there. But I think it's really important that Bray Wyatt is wrestling a match and not the Fiend here. And people have put out their own theories, and I agree with this, because Bray Wyatt, as a creative force, seems to have this level of attention to detail. And that is, the Fiend has no reason to attack the Miz. Yeah. Because the Fiend only comes out to attack people that have wronged Wyatt in the past. Yeah. Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, Daniel Bryan. But here, Bray and Miz never had any history.
Was there ever a Nexus versus Miz and Morrison match or something?
I doubt it. Yeah, Morrison left in 2011. Yeah, they didn't cross over, did they?
When Nexus was 2010.
Oh, yeah, Nexus. Yeah, you're right. I keep forgetting about that bit. But so there was nothing substantial.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's no kind of hurt heel. He's not looking at his hands or anything like that. It's just kind of, I'm attacking you for fun.
And I don't know where they're going to go with this. And apart from the Seth Rollins stuff, which was like one of the biggest creative missteps in a decade for me, like absolutely unforgivable. Actually, everything else they've done with The Fiend has been spot on.
Yeah.
So I've got to kind of give them the benefit of the doubt there that this is going to turn out good. And it's actually a really interesting layer to what's already an amazingly deep character.
Yeah. I mean, you can... What I imagine they'll do is have Miz lose relatively quickly to The Fiend, and then The Fiend is kind of going at him.
To Bray Wyatt.
Sorry, yeah. So the Fiend or Bray Wyatt, whoever it is going at the Miz after the bell, and then you have the return of no hair Daniel Bryan to sort of set it up, or possibly on the night the sort of SmackDown after TLC. I think it would make more sense at TLC, because we haven't seen it, and next week it'll probably be again. I still haven't seen that. Or all right, here's what it'll be. The Miz will be at home, won't he? It'll be like a satellite. The Miz joins us via satellite from his home, and then there'll be red lights, and then he'll sort of do that sort of thing.
I don't think so. I think this is a Bray Wyatt. I think The Fiend's going to get a bit of a break. And I want to see him have a bit of a break. Like, maybe we don't see The Fiend again until next year. Until next decade, I can say. But for everything from now on is just Bray Wyatt, Firefly Funhouse, and you get over the side of Bray that hasn't been violent yet. Remember when Seth Rollins jumped, like he went into the Firefly Funhouse, and Bray was like, I'm not going to hurt you, because that's not, I'm non-violent. The Fiend's the violent part. So now we can explore how Bray isn't actually innocent either. He is a bit of a sick puppy too. But that's not to say there aren't ways they can ruin this.
No. I'm not saying they will, but past records would suggest that they probably are thinking about it.
When this whole gimmick first started, before we kind of got the full reveal of The Fiend, I was like, I love all this. I think it's amazing. I'm really worried about Bray wrestling in the cardigan in the ring, because I don't know how you can visually and seriously transition this gimmick into an actual wrestling match.
But I agree that if you just have The Fiend wrestling the same match over and over, which is where he gets worked over, and just keeps kicking out, and then the babyface gets so frustrated that they do something stupid, mandible claw, win. If you just do that for every single match, it's not going to interest people. But if you introduce this other half of his personality, because it is a half, there are two people. If you introduce that into a match, even if you kind of do, I don't know, it sounds so stupid, but like if they kind of flip around the entrance music, so you've got the Fiend, and then at the end it kind of and then sort of cuts into Firefly Funhouse, and he just comes out sort of all cheery in his cardigan, walks down to the ring, and sort of acts like, Miz, why are we fighting? Like, what's this all about?
Or he does it all from a place of love, like, no, I want to join your family. Miz like, F off. No, I'm gonna beat you up now. But I mean, my concern. But that is, you're totally right. You sort of change this character into what has been the Fiend does all the matches into more of a Balor Demon split. Yeah. So you have Finn Balor wrestle. You have Bray Wyatt wrestle the weekly TV occasionally.
I still don't want. I don't want him on weekly TV. I want him to be still a marquee. Sort of match haver. I don't want to see him wrestling Elias and Baron Corbin on weekly TV. Because he's like Bryan, he's good enough to carry a storyline so that he only needs to have matches once a month. But so
I forgot the ways they can ruin it.
Yeah.
Music. Yeah. While all the time Bray Wyatt does a match, the Firefly Funhouse music's playing.
Have Maurice at ringside distract the Fiend into a schoolboy. Miz wins.
That also. Remember, it's Bray Wyatt, not the Fiend.
That's true. Bray Wyatt's a rubbish wrestler. The Fiend's great.
And puppets.
Yeah.
Puppets around the ring.
Yeah. I mean, there are so many ways that could ruin this. I mean, genuinely, as much as we were joking about it, I think bringing Miz Dad into it could possibly ruin it because it would be so goofy.
It will level up considerably.
Level up in many ways, but in terms of logic, which WWE is famous for, I think it would be a poor idea.
But Bryan, I don't know if he's going to come back as a brainwashed.
So I think that's the other possibility is that Bryan comes back either as like this mega baby face, like I have to overthrow, or it's the beginning of a second Wyatt family,
which probably is now not the time. Hold off on that, but I'm into it. I thought this was the best thing in WWE all week. Well, obviously not counting NXT. The best thing in sports entertainment all week.
Yeah, it was the best thing on the show by a long way.
So let's see what you thought. I put up the poll earlier. I only did 3 options this time, as opposed to the out of 5.
Why is that?
Because YouTube told me to. Oh. They said, you're giving people too many options.
You're a slave. You're a slave.
So I thought I'd do... Not as many people have voted.
No.
So, I know the audience better, YouTube.
It's a Saturday morning. People are still waking up, having their breakfasts.
So, of 7,500 people have voted, 55% gave it 1 out of 3, which is a dog's dinner.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that.
And then 38% gave it thumbs in the middle, 2 out of 3. So, most people were down on this show.
Does that give us sort of leeway to be down on it as well?
I think so. Well, we've been very positive on that opening bit, but the rest of the show was pretty crap.
I'm not planning on being... I'm not a massively negative person when it comes to this sort of thing, but I probably won't be too negative, but I'll let you get carried away.
I'll steer it. And also, just before we get in the full play-by-play review of the show, we've got merch. Look, Nikki Bella is modelling this lovely T-shirt here with the WrestleTalk logo, and we've got other things. I mean, I'm going to take off my jumper right now. Oh, yeah. That's our foreign objects line. A little steel chair on my teat here. So if you go over to WrestleTalkMerch.com, you can get your own T-shirts and help support the show and WrestleTalk. Yeah. And also, so we've done our 2-week trial of no Super Chats. On Tuesday's Raw, we're going to try a bit of a mix. Have I said this on this show yet?
Yeah, we said it at the beginning, so there's going to be a mix. So there'll be a little 5-minute segment just between the main topic and the rest of the show, just to sort of focus on the main topic, questions about the main topic. At the end, if we've got time, we'll do another 5 minutes or so of other. Maybe there's more on the main topic that we couldn't do, but there'll be other questions, other comments from people, and then we will switch over. Probably we're thinking to the website with a link, so you can head over there if you've still got super chats you want to listen to. If you haven't submitted any, or if you've still got one you've submitted and you haven't heard the answer to, head over there and we will do our best to answer all of them fully.
It's kind of like a post show.
Yes.
We'll just do a little post show, and that means like if you're watching on YouTube and it's only an hour long as opposed to the hour 20, hour and a half, sometimes an hour 40, I think our Survivor Series review was. You can watch that and not be put off by the length.
Have you got a name, or are you sort of...
I don't know, WrestleTalk
names in the comments?
Yeah, so suggest some names in the comments. Right, so SmackDown as a full episode opened with the Miz stuff, and then we went straight into Alexa Bliss's in-ring return. She's a babyface.
Wow, yeah, this week she is. And
Against
you've got
Mandy Rose.
So, interesting thing. So, I'm currently in the process of writing a few list articles for our end of year, which you will be then turning into scripts for the YouTube channel. But you will probably see some of them first on the website, some of them first on YouTube. But so Mandy Rose, her contract expires next year.
Interesting.
And there's no one else that we know of on the women's roster really that has the sort of is in the same situation. I think I would think of all the people, she's most likely to re-sign out of all of it. But maybe she's done with wrestling. I mean, she's not exactly. Doesn't seem that. I mean, she's probably making a lot of money out of her modeling career as it is. She doesn't seem that bothered about the whole wrestling thing.
I don't know. I don't get an Eva Marie vibe.
No. No, I mean, she's a better wrestler than Eva Marie by a long way. I mean, she can sort of do a move.
More charisma as well.
But she's constantly overshadowed, and again, she was overshadowed. I mean, she was there to lose, as she often is. And it was. 3 minutes?
Oh, yeah, I thought this was a bad match.
Oh, yeah.
Alexa, I just don't think fits in a babyface role the same way Charlotte doesn't. But they did have a nice spot here. Mandy got Alexa on the floor and pulled off one of her fake eyelashes. Yeah. Which was pretty good.
It felt like Michael Cole was trying to sell it as her actual eyelash. Yeah. Those are her eyelashes on the ground. No, they're not.
No, yeah, they do that. Ladies do that at the end of the day. And it's quite easy.
Yeah, and it doesn't actually hurt that much from as far as I'm aware.
But Nikki Cross took out Sonya on the outside. Yeah. Alexa hit a Twisted Bliss for the win. Yeah. That's all it was, really.
Mandy tells her, get off of my face, and then kicks her directly in the face. So that was a heel thing. But apart from that, it was pretty dull.
Then we got from this sort of that was just like dull, wasn't it? Yeah. This was actively I want to turn off the show. Next, Dana Brooke is in catering. She is getting a bit of a 3-week push on account of her and Batista being a bit thirsty for each other on the soch.
Yeah. So do you think she's just milking that to try and get a push, or do you think they're actually going on a date?
I think she wants to go on a date with Batista. And Batista wants to go on a date with her.
I want to go on a date with Batista.
Exactly.
I guess. But yeah, so Drake Maverick walks in and sort of, what's Batista got that I haven't? Obviously, sort of the whole joke about Drake Maverick since he started is that he's very small and looks a bit like a child, and some people think he looks like me. But yeah, and then in walks Elias.
Babyface Elias. He made his return last week. He's got a weird... I have to see more of what his new thing is to fully get it. But he walks in, and Drake, by the way, as usual, is fantastic. Yeah, the material he's given isn't very good, but everything, the way he performs it, absolutely amazing.
Dana.
And Elias comes in, he does a song, but he does it so serious, so straight-faced, that it kind of undermines the comedic lines. And a lot of, it's very easy to make rhyming songs funny, as we've seen with Cena and The Rock in the past, and Elias when he had a babyface run before. But here, he insinuates that he slept with Maverick's wife.
Yeah,
Maverick storms
Maverick
off.
doesn't pleasures himself rather than anyone else. With tissues.
With tissues and hand lotion.
Yes.
And Drake storms off, and Dana says, "Did you really sleep with his wife?" And Elias goes, "Oh no, are you being serious?"
Yeah.
He says, "No.
But something's going to happen, yeah.
But something serious is going to happen." And it was so not fitting with the comedy gimmick he has.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it.
I'm not sure about his new gear or whatever he's wearing. He looks a bit like if you turned up to a sort of over 20s camp, he would be sitting by the campfire sort of as the sort of first thing you get to when you go there, and he'd be singing sort of, I don't know, Noah and the Whale songs and things like that. I don't get it. And then it cuts immediately to Drake in the ring.
Drake's in the ring, again, being brilliant. He is just talking up that everyone's making fun of him, and he's really good at working the live crowd, is one of Maverick's huge strengths. And Elias comes down with Dana Brooke, and he gets in the ring because Drake had challenged him to a fight. And Elias does all of the standard, your short spots. He's holding him back with his hand while Drake can't reach him. And then he bends Maverick over and just starts spanking him. And this was where I was like, I'm so glad my lady partner's asleep next to me right now and that no one can see I'm watching this.
I didn't notice any of that because behind Elias was a giant support WrestleTalk sign, which was there for the majority, right on the hard cam.
It was a really nice sign as well, coloured in, bold.
With pictures.
Thank you, whoever that was.
Yeah, because you distracted me from what I was watching.
Wow,
but so since he's made his kind of main roster debut, he's been forced to wet himself. Mm-hmm. He's been spanked. He's failed to sleep with his wife several times. So yeah, it's
and he was the manager of AOP.
But what did we expect? Because he's are we allowed to say 5'7"? We can say
I think
he's about sort of 5'6", 5'7". This was always going to happen. I mean, coming up from Impact, he's probably getting a lot more money than he was, but this was always going to happen.
Yeah,
and he's British,
and just like Dana's fake laughing on the outside, really, it was so obnoxious, and it ended up where I wasn't into Elias as a babyface here. I thought it came across as quite mean-spirited, and I felt sorry for Drake.
Yeah.
So I thought this was a complete failure of a segment.
Because I was away last week, I didn't see SmackDown live, so I just kind of watched the highlights. And nothing that I've seen so far suggested that Elias is a babyface, apart from the fact that he's not kind of crapping on the hometown.
Well, that is it though, isn't it? That's what makes a heel. And then Dana gets in after Elias hits a drift away, and Dana gets a pin that Elias counts. Then we get the Miz bit backstage. He sees the weird lighting. We've spoken about that. Tribute to the Troops tweet graphic wall thing. And then we got the tag titles #1 contender match.
The only, other than the main event, this was the only sort of
wrestling
watchable match.
It was Lucha. I've written Lucha Bros. If only it was Lucha Bros. It was Lucha House Party versus Chad Gable and Ali.
Hey, do you want some more contract talk?
Or should I just versus Heavy Machinery and the Revival and the New Day are on the commentary desk outside watching it all. It was an elimination match. What's the
both
contract?
Kalisto and Grand Metalik contracts run out in June.
Oh my god!
So
they've got to go.
They've got to go. I mean, remember Grand Metalik debuted. He was a lot of people won't know because of how he's been portrayed, but he was considered one of the best luchadors in the world.
Yeah.
And then he comes runner-up in the Cruiserweight Classic. And you're thinking, brilliant. So they've established him as a future star. Has a few good matches on 205 Live when it moves over, and then he gets put in the Lucha House Party, and everyone hates them, and they never win anything.
Yeah.
He had a match with Rey Mysterio a few weeks ago, and that was it.
Big high-profile invaders in Survivor Series.
Yeah, exactly. They injured Lars Sullivan, which is one of the only things they've done, which for some people might be a blessing. But so they have to go, I think. But it was nice to see that they at least have matches still. I think it was probably a case of, right, we've got 3 teams, but this is a fatal 4-way, so first person to write your name down on here, you can have a match.
And they are they're a good team to put in to do some high spots and then get eliminated.
Exactly, which they did immediately.
They are so much more than that, but unfortunately that's where WWE have slotted them. But yeah, this wasn't amazing. It was just like quite a standard 4-way elimination. Otis is just something else. I remember when, because it was after Mania this year when Heavy Machinery were called up.
And no one knew what was going on.
And Otis was doing his spots, and he's added so much more to that since. And the Caterpillar would only get over halfway through the Caterpillar. And it's just, this is such an important lesson for getting over spots and giving it time. People always forget that when the New Age Outlaws debuted, it took about 6 months before people started doing the intro along with Road Dogg. And we're seeing that now. This was one of the most over things on the show when Otis just ran through his spots.
As soon as he comes in the ring, the crowd completely just... It felt like the crowd was sort of just watching. And then as soon as he just got into the ring, there's just a massive change in the whole atmosphere in the entire arena. And he's just a star. I know he's never going to be a main event star, but in his role, he's absolutely perfect. And Liam, one of our websites, Otis is his favourite wrestler in the entire world.
Really?
He loves Otis. Every time he gets in the ring, every time there's like a mystery opponent, he's like, it's got to be Otis, surely. And the thing is, if it was Otis, people were like, it's Otis.
Yeah.
People would love it. But so Lucha Party do a high spot. They kind of do a tandem sort of dive. They get blindsided by Tucker. Crash Compactor. They're out.
Yeah.
But he's just fantastic. And then you've got him sort of charging up, hits the Caterpillar.
Do a huge pop.
Yeah, and then almost immediately he gets sort of rolled up quite awkwardly by Wilder, I think.
Yeah, it was.
And then the whole crowd just went, huh.
And then we got the Ali and Gable with the Revival. It was good stuff. And then the Revival won. So after that, the Revival cut a really decent promo, I thought.
Yeah.
Just like, properly emotion filled. And they kept on saying how they're going to make this match what they do best, and that's fundamentals. We're going to have a straight tag team wrestling match. We're going to prove to you, New Day, why we're the best tag team in the world, which says to me, New Day are going to make it a stipulation match. Because it's TLC.
Yeah.
They've got they've got next week's Go Home episode to add something.
True. They did say no pancakes, no unicorns. So what does that leave them? What else is in their gimmick? Pancake batter?
I just think they make it a... I mean, I love TLC matches and ladder matches. I want to see the New Day and the Revival do a TLC match. Or a ladder match.
A ladder match would be great.
Tables and chairs I don't care about.
Yeah, I mean, they'd have a brilliant match. I mean, we have seen this match plenty of times.
Well, that's it. That's why I think it needs a stipulation. Because right now, New Day and the Revival for the tag titles, I don't care.
Yeah, no, that was my feeling when the Revival won. I mean, I knew as soon as it was them in the final two teams, I was like, well, the Revival are winning here. They're not going to have Gable and Ali go over here. Oh, sorry, he's now Mustafa Ali again,
He's Mustafa,
he?
Is he?
So... yeah, I mean, it was a good promo. It was nice to see the sort of bit of fire. I mean, they're sort of, overall, they're 10-time champions. So the New Day's got 7, they've got 3. I mean, they're probably off in April. I think Wilder's got 10 weeks more. But while they've got them, they have to make the most of the Revival.
Or just bury them.
But the thing is that you would have thought they would have buried them by now.
They have. Loads of times.
Yeah,
and they give them a time on. I want to talk about the next thing. So Roman Reigns comes in to talk to Kayla Braxton backstage, and he's talking about what happened last week with Bobby Roode, where he tried to, essentially
kill him
with
a mace.
Doing a curb stomp on a chair, but the foot is a
I don't
mace.
think Roman... Everyone's like, oh, Roman really overreacted. I don't think he did. Like, pushing a table onto someone, he almost killed him.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a valid response. So he's talking that up and how he's going to face Dolph Ziggler tonight. But then he shifts his attention to the guy who's actually behind all this the leader of the mid-card vortex, King Corbin. And he says the man is 6'6", almost 6'8".
If only there was a height between 6'6" and 6'8" that you could be. I mean, just say the man is 6'6".
Maybe you're so tall. You're such a tall 6'6".
Yeah.
You might as well be 6'8". I mean, that is wrestling promotion, isn't it? Well, you fiddle the numbers.
Yeah.
But there's that tiny little line is actually really, really interesting. I've got a whole bit about it in my video coming up later, which is the SmackDown review with a bit of news at the end. and it's in that news part. Apparently, it's a Vince McMahon thing.
Yeah,
he genuinely.
It's on the list.
Then we got a little promo thing for CM Punk on WWE Backstage on Tuesday. Then we got the Sheamus promo, doing Who's That Pokemon?
Okay, yeah, the Sheamus promo, which was sort of, yeah, we know who this is, and he just kind of did his I'm Irish, I'm a Celtic warrior. There was some Irish sort of like horns and things going on in the background. So it looks like he's returning. That's the gimmick he's returning to. He's not gonna. The bar is no more. Sheamus is coming for probably the IC Championship in a couple months.
Which I love Sheamus. I'm really happy that he hasn't had to retire.
Back, yeah.
Because he was suffering from, I think it was spinal stenosis, wasn't it? Which I don't think you can recover from, but you can manage it.
Yeah.
So it's great to see him back. But yeah, his whole thing was, everyone's weak on SmackDown. I'm gonna be the tough guy.
Yeah. So he's a heel.
That's what Drew McIntyre's doing on Raw.
But Drew McIntyre's Scottish. Sheamus is Irish, so it's basically the same thing.
Yeah, I think to Vince they sound
so. And they've both got beards, and they've both got hair, and they're both quite pale, and they're very muscly. So, same thing.
Yeah.
Really.
Then we got Lacey Evans in a win in a squash match against
Nia Jax,
against Haley Jones. I guess you're saying Nia Jax because of the weird outfit she was wearing.
Was dressed like Nia. She had the whole sort of Nia Jax. I don't know what Nia Jax's thing is called, but it's the sort of whole body thing with the.
It looks like a Power Rangers outfit.
Yeah. With the kind of leotard, shiny leotard thing. It was maybe 45 seconds punch, but that wasn't really the point.
The commentators said that this jobber, Haley Jones, enhancement talent. I don't like calling people jobbers.
No.
It's a lion tamer.
That's
why she was dressed that way.
That's her gimmick.
I just couldn't get past the fact that the way she was dressed. It just looked like Lacey Evans was roughing up a LARPer.
It wasn't really a match, but like I said, that wasn't really the point of this match. The point of the match was to bring out the boss.
Yeah, so Sasha Banks comes down. They have a bit of a war of words. Yeah. Lacey is a babyface. She has been for a week now, I guess. I think it's another complete miscasting. And look, what do they all have in common? Alexa, Charlotte, Lacey. They're all clear heels. They're all blonde.
Yeah.
I know. It sounds really crude, but it's so obvious now.
Yeah. Dana Brooks getting a little push.
Vince McMahon and Kevin Dunn, this is over years, decades that people have said this. Their ideal woman is, Attitude Era blonde girl.
Yeah.
And now these old dogs cannot learn new tricks, and we're seeing it where they want to push the faces of the company in reverse, where they see this image and then they retrofit it to someone who looks like it, even though their natural charisma or sort of character doesn't suit it.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And I get that it is a good story that she used to be a Marine, because in America, being a member of the armed forces is just a huge deal. Not my theory, but the theory I was thinking is like the tribute to the troops. Lacey's getting a push ahead of that. She'll probably have a match with Bayley, I guess, at TLC because she's the champion. Or maybe Sasha first, big Royal Rumble match.
Yeah, quite possibly. But yeah, she's getting the tribute to the troops push.
Yeah.
She was pushed in both of the tribute to the troops promo packages. But yeah, so Sasha kind of comes down and says, "You're a bad role model to your daughter." Ooh, and obviously she's like, "Oh, don't you say that about my daughter." It's kind of the whole "don't mention my family" thing again, as it often is in WWE. And she's like, "I'm not just a mother, I'm a Marine," which of course gets the "Hey, Army" pop.
USA, USA.
Exactly. And Lacey, I thought, was mildly over, like compared to like the other women who are on this show.
Was she over, or was the word Marine over?
That's true.
You know, like how
do you reckon she's going to be in the Marine 7 or 8?
I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
So Lacey sort of fakes out a punch to Sasha.
Yeah.
Sasha drops to the floor. Nice little heel thing there. And Lacey goes up the ramp, looks back to the ring.
Which you should never, ever do.
I think that's everything sorted here. And Bayley splatters her.
Yeah.
She attacks her from behind, but that was just such a face plant. It looked really good, and the heels celebrate over it.
Yeah.
Then we got the Miz and Bray Wyatt announcements of the match. Reigns versus Corbin in a TLC match was also confirmed.
Shane McMahon was going to be on NCIS LA, so tune in.
That image, the promo image for it, just looks like he won a competition to stand
and
next
he's
to
going
LL
to be.
Cool J.
Do you reckon he's going to be like he? What they generally are on these guests are sort of guest sort of investigators. He'll walk in and go, "Oh, we need a guy from the X division in," and then not Impact, but he'll come in and go, "Oh, yeah, I'm detective, whatever," and then he'll be the guy who sort of whips off his shades and goes, "Yeah, well, so what have we got here?"
Bitch.
Yeah, exactly, and then he does coast to coast on the criminal.
Or falls off something very high. I don't know why this is a thing.
No.
Like, when has Shane McMahon ever
been an actor?
Yeah. He's going to get very sweaty, especially the amount of body armor.
He's in LA as well.
Yeah.
So
then we had the tribute of the tribute for the tribute to the troops video package, which was very nice.
Yeah.
Had Braun Strowman
trying to squeeze into a little plane cockpit, and he was like,
laughing at
fits like a glove.
Roman Reigns was there. It was nice.
Yeah,
Kurt Angle was
absolutely.
there as well. And then we got the main event of Roman Reigns versus Dolph Ziggler. I thought this was I tuned out in this match.
It wasn't exciting because, again, I don't think anyone in the crowd expected it to have a proper finish. I mean, it had a finish, but then once again it was the whole post-match angle that people cared about. Roman Reigns and Dolph Ziggler have had so many matches that I could close my eyes and pretty much tell you what was happening.
Rest hold.
Dolph gets on top, throws Roman into some things. Roman gets a comeback. Dolph sort of scuppers him. And then there's a big kind of spot on the outside. So Roman goes to clothesline him sort of off the steps. Dolph hits the super kick. And then royal music.
Yeah. It's a standard Reigns template match. And it's not just it was repetitive and stale in the ring. I think it's because if you zoom out, it's the mid-card again.
Yeah.
It's the same stuff with when we were getting Shane McMahon, Drew McIntyre, and Elias as that heel faction. Baron, Drew, and Bobby as that heel faction. It's just, and now we've got Baron, Bobby, and Dolph as a heel faction. It's just like, it's not interesting.
No.
I love Corbin, but this isn't. He's not good enough to be the top heel on a show and wrestling against Roman. And also, I get that Roman's really, really good.
Yeah.
And I love Roman now. And I think, he's finally clicked after...
Yeah. And he was quite over in this match. I thought people were even chanting Roman at one point.
But the idea that he can only ever face groups of 3 men or more is tedious. I just build up other... Like, I would be so much more into a Samoa Joe versus Roman match. Because I don't believe in Ziggler, Corbin, and Bobby beating him, nor do I care. So, and that's what we got here.
Yeah.
Corbin came in and sort of tried to interfere, but Roman overcame and speared Dolph for the win. And then Corbin came in. Everyone's beating up Roman. Roman powers out, but Corbin had 6 dudes with him.
Yeah, they were like the Dark Order's little... What are they called?
Minions,
yeah. So they kind of started hitting him. Obviously, he overpowered all of them because 6 men can't take down 1 man unless they're trained in real fighting.
Aikido.
And then Corbin comes in with one clock.
Yeah.
But have you heard that Roman is the very big favourite to win the Rumble? So that's another multi-man match that he will overcome the odds in. Well, I'm sure.
I think CM Punk's the favourite.
So Dolph and Corbin come in, and then something utterly bizarre happens.
Well, there's another layer. So what happens, and what you've probably seen around, is They handcuff Roman to the ring post. So they cuff both his hands and they suspend that over the ring post. So he's sort of hanging.
That was the first image I saw on Twitter this morning. So I didn't know when I went to watch the show what had happened. You were like, oh, I won't spoil it for you. So I was thinking, he's going to get a kendo stick or something and hit him while he's on there. No, not that.
No, not a serious injury angle that would create some kind of dramatic interest. They both got tins of dog food and poured it over Roman, and then they walked off laughing, and Roman's going, blah!
Do you reckon this was a Triple H written spot?
No, I don't.
Because it was pedigree, chum. Can I come on next week as well?
I don't think so. But that was awful. I think we can all agree that was awful. It's embarrassing. It's childish. Fox, I thought we were getting a more sports-based show on Fox.
Yeah, it was. And Corey and Cole were trying so hard to put this over as like a kind of, what if he can't wrestle at TLC? He got some gravy on his ear now. I mean, he might get sort of like vertigo or something.
The amount of grease in his hair, it should just slide off. Thankfully.
Exactly.
But what I want to know that no one's talking about, a hand grabbed Roman's foot from underneath the ring.
I think surely that was one of his minions.
It was one of the minions, but it just came out of nowhere. And the commentary said someone's grabbed his foot from under the ring. And that was the thing that turned the tide for the heels to get on top of Roman. So I'm just like, that's so weird. And it never played into anything again. Anyway, I thought it was off. I thought it was a terrible spot. It's a lackluster feud. And the only good thing on this show, really, but it was very good, is the Bray Miz stuff.
Yeah.
I thought this. I found a lot of this show embarrassing to watch as a wrestling fan.
Yeah, I mean, because of my schedule, my kind of work schedule, I don't get to see a lot of live shows, and I kind of watch shows sort of fragmented. So I haven't watched like just a full show
sat down
the whole way through in a while, just because of that. And I just remembered that, like, yeah, the way I do it is actually quite a lot better. Because the show finished, and the lasting image I had was Roman Reigns kind of going, I've got dog food on my face, and I smell. I'm going to go backstage, and everyone's going to go, Roman smells of dog food. And it's just that's not sport. And if they want to have a sport like AEW, you wouldn't have. Sorry. Bias.
Oh, yeah, we've got bias. They pay the checks.
Another promotion wouldn't do that, where they kind of think, right, this is a serious feud. Mm-hmm. They'd end it with a beatdown. They'd end it with a chair shot. They'd end it with something with Roman lying in the ring because he's been just physically destroyed, not handcuffed to a post. And when you've got someone handcuffed to a post and you want to humiliate them, you've got... They can't do anything. They've got their legs thrashing around, but you've got their whole upper body to focus on. And, I mean, they must have been sure they were going to win that match because where did they get it? Is it under the ring, the dog food?
I think it was under the ring.
Yeah.
If you really wanted to humiliate him, feed it. Feed him it. That's pretty gross.
Yeah.
But even that wouldn't have been good.
No.
So I gave it a 2 out of 5. What would you rate it?
I mean, for my first rating, probably, a 2 out of 5. There was
SmackDown,
but that was all for Miz and
definitely
and the Fiend, and also I'm excited to see what Sheamus does when he comes back.
Yeah.
But other than that, nothing really happened, and what did happen was so goofy, like the whole Drake Maverick stuff and the whole dog food thing. That it's just kind of, I forget that anything good happened originally.
Yeah. Just before we get on to the Patreon shout-outs, I know we're not doing super chats on this episode, but thank you, Dan, for a big pledge there, saying Andy Datson is the absolute best man. Merry Christmas, boy.
Thank you very much, Dan. Yeah, Dan messaged me also on Discord to say, unable to be live when you return to YouTube. I wish you the best of luck.
Oh, that's very
possibly
kind of
the nicest man I've ever met.
He's lovely. He's come to the studio as well. And Kevin said WrestleTalk after live. Kind of like WrestleTalk Dark.
Yeah. I still like WrestleTalking Smack.
That's good. Anyway, thank you ever so much for joining us here today. Before we get out of here, we're going to thank our wonderful $25 a month or more pledge hammers on Patreon. So thank you. Today's Tom Sawyer, Mean Pride. Whoa, you get a cheap pop.
Leader of the boys, Dalton Sizemore.
Love Dalton Castle. The Incredible Tarzan.
Incredible stuff.
Woo!
Spoke in class today, Jeremy Smith.
So that's a Pearl Jam reference, apparently.
I don't know what that is.
The man who wears the gold. The man recognized by SWAF Nation International as the 24/7 champion. Our legend.
Woo! I thought there was a character limit on these things. The redneck, Dennis Hicks. I nearly rolled an R.
Michael Plowman. That's his name. That name again is Michael Plowman.
Yeah, Simpsons. I like it. Join him, John. Yeah.
I would say Iowa.
Iowa.
Cheers, John. Big bad Blake Lloyd.
Well, he's very big and he's bad. Martin Santoyo talking to me. So I got there in the end.
The Perfect Storm. Noah Trombley. Woo!
And caught in a Travis Webb.
Whoa, thank you
very much,
Thanks everyone for joining us. We'll be back on Tuesday. And actually, right after this, my WrestleTalk news and SmackDown review episode will be going live, so look out for that. Give us a subscribe, hit the thumbs up button, and press the videos that have just appeared on the desk right now to catch up with the latest awesome WrestleTalk things. And this button right here, which will take you to our merch store, where you too can get lovely WrestleTalk merch. But for now, I've been Ollie Davis. This has been a returning Randy Andy Datson, and that was wrestling.